Before I share with you my vision for America, I want to say a few words about the man who I hope is my predecessor, President Josiah Bartlett. He has graced and honored his office, the highest in the land, the most powerful in the world. He has served this country steadfastly and laudably. And I say this despite our political and philosophical differences.
Welcome back to Hardball. That was actor Alan Alda playing Republican presidential nominee Arnold Vilnick in The West Wing. In his new book, If I Understand You, Would I Have This Look on My Face? My Adventures in the Art and Science of Relating and Communicating. Alan Alda applies his ability as an actor to identify with how other people are failing to study how to relate to people in everyday life. I'm joined right now by actor and writer Alan Alda. You know, your book's about communication, and I did serve in the United States Peace Corps, and one thing they train you is to try to understand how people hear what you do and do what you don't. And if you get on an elevator, for example, and you're looking the wrong way away from the door, if you don't think we have cultural ways of communicating, try that sometime, and people will think you're insane. It's just the thing. We have habits of communicating. You stand next to the person on the elevator. You don't say too much. You say, how's the weather? What do you think of the Eagles? Or what do you think of the Redskins? But you don't go any further. It's interesting how we do communicate, and we check out the other person's reaction. And that's what really your book's about, relating.
It's relating. You're right. And we have, it's so peculiar, I think. It feels so good when you relate, when you make contact with the other person, get in sync with them in some way. And yet we avoid it so much. Why do you think that is? Why do we hold back from other people so much and demonize them if they don't agree with us? When it feels so much better to find something underneath the argument, underneath the rant that they might be making, that you actually find some commonality with. I agree with you. And
Ed McMahon once said years ago in his interviewing, he said the best question for an interview comes out of the last answer.
Absolutely. And to do that, you have to be listening, and you have to be reading the person's face and seeing what they're thinking, I think. And it's interesting, we do live in divided times now, sharply divided. And I just I read two experts on diplomacy who were saying independently the same thing. And they said you can't have diplomacy without taking into account the other person's perspective, which is really syncing up with them, finding out how they feel about things. Where are they? How can you understand where they're coming from? But we don't do that if we immediately assume that because they don't agree with us, they must be stupid or they must not know the facts, when in fact we may share the same values.
I was wondering about that. I know you don't want to talk about politics because this book is not political in any way, but it is a common problem we have. And it's, some people will hear somebody from a politician, they'll say, I think he's talking down to me. I think they're looking down on me. They're dissing me, as they say in the streets. And I think that's a big part of what's been going on in American politics the last couple of years. People think, I don't care what the facts are. I'm ticked off because they seem to be talking down to me.
I think, it's very easy if you have not only an opinion about something, but a body of knowledge about it, to speak to people as though they don't know as much as you and therefore they don't know anything. Actually, people know plenty. They've been spending their lives doing something other than what you've been doing. So you can share it with them. But it's never a good idea to sound like the fact that you know means that they don't know and they're kind of stupid. Nobody likes that feeling. I don't like it. Nobody likes it.
Well, Alan, you're the best. The old saying in speaking publicly is always underestimate the person in the audience knowledge, but overestimate their intelligence. Yeah. And I think that's what people don't do enough of. They go the other way with the jargon, and they overestimate your ability to know what they're talking about when really you're really talking down to them. You're the best. I had to have you on, Alan, and I've always liked your books, and this is another one. I remember you remind me of Mr. Wizard from the old days, teaching science to regular people like kids. You're the best. You're a great guy.
You're great. Thank you for having me.
And I love you as that senator who shined his own shoes. Like, who else was going to shine them anyway? But thank you for coming on. It's great.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. Good to see you.
The name of the book is If You Understand Me, Would I Have This? Would I have this look on my face? Thank you, Alan Alda. When we return, let me finish tonight with Trump Watch. You're watching Hardball.